welcome back to A&A Bookstore today. So for today's video, I'm going to share with you a book about Macbeth and written by William Shakespeare. Let's get started. So Macbeth, after winning a battle, the king crowned him to be the Lord of Cawdor. Meanwhile, on his way home with his friend, he saw three creepy witches, and they predicted that he will become the king and Lord of Cawdor. So at first he didn't believe them, but after that he saw Lord Ross riding a horse went forward with them. So, and he said that the king has made you the Lord of Cawdor. So he was very shocked about this. So then he believed that their prediction is actually real. So he wrote a letter back to his wife, and then his wife told him he was a coward because he should have killed the king after that, and they would become the king and queen instead of just a lord. So then his greed in his mind started to grow. The next day, after having a feast, so here's the feast, when he made sure that everyone had slept, Macbeth carefully reached for a sword and then killed the king. The next day, everyone was in a horror, and they were terrified when they see the king dead. So they asked who was the murderer, and everyone was quiet except for Macbeth because he was the one who killed the king. A week passed, and Macbeth became the king because they couldn't find Malcolm, the king's son. So now he had everything he wanted, but he wasn't happy. He was thinking of Banquo, of his best friend, because Banquo would know that he killed the king because the witch predicted, and he was there, so he might guess. He was worried, and that night he called one of his servants and told them to kill Banquo. So Banquo, meanwhile, was on his way with his son home, and then they were just surrounded by the guards, and then the guards killed him as the order of the king. So Macbeth's feast was nearly over when something terribly happened. So he was having a feast for all the other lords. He looked around at the happy guests and smiled. Then he froze. There at the end of the table was Banquo. Macbeth was terrified, and he kept shouting, "Ghost, ghost!" And then he told everyone to leave him alone. So he told his wife, and then she asked, "Can we ever forget what we've done?" And he was also worried about this, and he was worried about his wife too. So anyways, in England, Prince Malcolm sat with the Lord Macbeth beside a tree. It was a beautiful day. Birds flew overhead and the sun shone. "It was time for you to come back to Scotland," said Macbeth gravely. And do you know who Macbeth is? Macbeth is Macbeth, I believe, is Banquo's son. If I didn't guess it's wrong. So let me check. No, his son was Fleance, and I don't know who Macbeth is. They didn't mention him though. I know Malcolm, but I don't know Macbeth or whatever his name is. Oh, so he was the Lord. Then his face broke into a smile. He had spotted, so Malcolm spotted Lord Ross approaching across the meadow, and he leaped up to greet him. "Lord Ross, my father's friend," he cried. But Ross didn't seem happy to see Malcolm. "Lord Macbeth, I have something dreadful to tell you," he said. "The Ryan Macbeth has killed your wife and children." So Lord Macbeth, I think Lord Macbeth is is one of the soldier, or he's the lord. I don't know. Macduff's face twisted with grief and fury. Then he spoke, his voice calm and cold. Now you will see why you must return, he said. Very well, said Malcolm. Macbeth must be stopped. Tomorrow we march to the Dunsinane. So, Malcolm also gathered a few soldiers in Scotland with him, and they went forward to the castle. A moment later, a horrible scream came from inside the castle, and a servant rushed out. His hand was covered in blood. My lord, he stammered, it's your wife. She killed herself. So Macbeth went white. He understood at once. Guilt had shrunken his wife to death. He felt lonely and numb with fear. But there was no time to grieve. Bring me my sword, he roared. I don't care if Byron Wood had come to Dunsinane. No man can kill me. Open the gates. So, when he saw Macduff crept with the corridor hunting for Macbeth. So then two men fight, and do you guess who won? Of course, it's Macduff. So Macduff held his sword and killed Macbeth. Hail Malcolm, King of Scotland, Macduff panted. Macbeth lay dead on the ground, where his greed for power had brought him. His bloody deaths had led to the bloodiest of ends. The end. But I don't know who Macduff is. They didn't mention him from the start and from the end, you know. And I'm sure that I read all of the story, from the start. And it seemed like everyone in the story had an M for their name, you know. Their name both start with an M. And I think Macduff is just one of the King Duncan's best friend. Anyways, it was nice to see you guys and tell the story to everyone. I hope you enjoyed my video today. It's really short. I make it as short as possible. I try to memorize it instead of reading it from the book to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and bye! See you in my next video. And comment down below what is your favorite novels from William Shakespeare, and tell me about it. You can also tell the title. I'll try a way to find it and read it, because I'm also a huge fan of novels, honestly. So anyways, I hope you're safe at home now. COVID-19 is back, unfortunately. But anyways, I think you guys will find a way to have fun. And guess what? 2 more weeks is back to school. Yeah. But at least it wasn't as bored as when we were at home, you know. It was quite bored for me, because in school I have friends, quite fun. Anyways,